Hey, it's John Thomas here from Nestpoint. Well, it's been a minute, and I hate to take a victory lap, but I guess I will. And thanks to Speaver for pointing out that our predictions over here at Nestpoint were pretty much bang on. Our discounting the last minute Ann Seltzer poll from about Iowa was completely wrong, and that Trump and the Republicans were likely to have a sweep. Hate to say I was right, but we were. So that was fun. But a lot has happened. And so what I'd like to do, since we're not in election mode just yet, although in about a year's time, we'll be talking about 2028 presidential race. And then, of course, all eyes will be on the midterms coming up and whether or not the Republican Party gets punished and loses their majority in the House. But the fact that they do have a full sweep, I thought we could focus on the transition, Trump's cabinet picks, his agenda, kind of as that unfolds and any uncertainty relating to that. What's fascinating about Trump's picks is some of them, I'm personally quite excited about it because I think they're going to allow him to drive his agenda. But what's fascinating about the picks, because some of them have been non-traditional, you'll notice that the media coverage has not really been much about Trump's agenda, particularly on mass deportations, which was another Speaver exclusive I tipped you guys off to, that those would be happening. But actually, the distraction of focusing on the cabinet picks, which is an important thing, of course, to discuss, is giving Trump more leeway to figure out his day one agenda and get everything ready to go. Because had Trump gone with more traditional picks, boring picks, I think what you would have seen is the mainstream media would have focused on the freak out about mass deportations, mass tariffs, etc., that Trump is going to do. And instead, he's getting a bit of a holiday on those points. And the reason that's important is no president is immune from public opinion, shifts in public opinion. And so if the media kept beating him up on that, it would make it harder for him to keep the political capital he needs to drive his ambitious agenda on day one. So I'm actually pleased to see a lot of the distraction with the cabinet picks. It's really good. I think it's also by design on Team Trump. We can dig into any questions you guys have on particular picks, whether it's a DHS or Treasury or Commerce. Trump is going to be ruthless in driving his agenda, and he's going to expect that his cabinet members both kind of dismantle the bureaucratic state, but also are willing to utilize tariffs, for instance, aggressively to punish particularly businesses out of China that he views them as unfairly competing with American businesses. So that is going to happen across the board. I'd put all Chinese companies on notice that they're in for a world of hurt. So that's going to be happening. On the confirmation, the only pick, I think that was dead on arrival was the Matt Gaetz pick. In a weird way, I think the Gaetz being out of Congress actually was a gift to the Speaker of the House because that's one less rabble-rouser to actually slow down the Speaker's ability to drive the president's agenda. So that perhaps at the end of the day that Gaetz is out of Congress is going to work out nicely for that. Another thing is you're seeing that Kamala Harris is telling people that she might run for president again or governor of California. I believe I did tell Speaver members weeks ago that Kamala would likely run for the governor of California. I think that'll maintain to be the case. I do not think that she'll run. She definitely won't win the Democratic nomination for president. She never really had any momentum for that position. She was first to drop out in 2020, if you recall, in the Democratic primary. She's an objectively awful candidate and has no reason to run other than identity. I don't think she's going to be tarred and feathered, blamed for this loss, although in part she should be. So I don't think her political run is over, but I think she has a cakewalk of a race becoming California governor. Remember, Gavin Newsom, the current incumbent, is termed out. And so she could run and hold that position for 8 years, potentially running in 8 years for president again. I don't think she'll win then, but she'll have a good 8-year run. Then I guess she could run for the Senate again if one of those California seats opened up. But my prediction is she will run for governor of California. It is a pipe dream that she would be the Democratic presidential nominee. That's not going to happen. The other thing I'm kind of watching is Trump's approval rating, and his cabinet approval rating is dramatically different than where it was in 2016. When typically the incoming president gets a little bit of a honeymoon in their approvals. Trump did not in 16. He was only like +2 on his cabinet administrative picks as well as himself. Now his cabinet or administrative picks are almost like +25, depending upon which member you look at, which means that Trump is going to have about the same, if not a little bit more momentum than a generic presidential candidate going in, or a presidential winner, which is a big deal, because that means that Trump is going to have more wind at his back to drive his agenda. So it's harder for the Democrats to be obstructionists in this process. You're also seeing certain picks. I think you're going to see the most swift movement on the issue of tariffs, and then the next will be on the issue of immigration, particularly with mass deportations. We can talk about that more if you're interested in hearing more as that evolves. The other thing would be on the issue of subsidies, particularly with electric vehicles, kind of green climate things. Trump is likely to kill off a lot of those. And then, of course, the last thing I would say is the regulatory state. Trump is going to go at it with a hatchet. I think he's going to use Doge, Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy's recommendations, but he's going to go in there using the approach of a forced reduction rather than traditional layoffs. And I think that's his perspective, Trump's perspective of how to make the economy boom again, is to unshackle growth by stripping the regulatory state. And again, he knows this to be true not just from his last time as president, but really that as a real estate developer. He knows that the overly burdensome regulations kill development projects. Take development projects, instead of getting done in a year or two, it takes 10 years, which drives up costs, which ends up hurting the consumer as the costs get past the consumer, etc. So that's really his vantage point. But anyway, that's just my brief analysis for now. I think so far, President Trump is hitting all of his marks. We'll watch as these confirmation fights go on. I think most will get easily confirmed. I think people were breathing a sigh of relief with Pam Bondi instead of Matt Gaetz. Pete Hegseth will be interesting during the confirmation issue. Can he get confirmed? My hunch is yes, but we'll watch as that unfolds. But anyway, it's going to be a very exciting new year, and I will be here to break down what you'll see are quick executive actions done by the White House. So thanks again for watching. It was really fun spending it with you guys in this election season. I also love it when I'm right. That's helpful too. But thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you next time.